I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Dylan Bowden.
We're Pop Culturists, and this is our dissection, our review discussion for Star Wars Rouge One. It is currently about, 2:30 in the morning. We've just went to the midnight screening.
Yes.
So if there are any yawns, we apologise. I will yawn. I'm very tired. Tell us about Rouge One.
So, Rouge One is the first Star Wars story standalone movie that Disney have decided to make now. Mm-hmm. So they've got their episodes, Episode 7, that are standalone, Episode 8, standalone, Episode 9, thousands of standalones.
Until the end of time.
Exactly. It's directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Godzilla, and before that, Monsters. Okay. So, essentially, Rouge One is about Felicity Jones, and her name is...
Jyn Erso.
Jyn Erso. Who's this girl whose father is the person who essentially came up with the idea for the Death Star and built the Death Star. He's a science officer. And he's kind of forced to build the Death Star, and she's left abandoned at a young age, and she kind of becomes caught up with the Rebel Alliance and this rag team of rebels to kind of get her father back and get the plans for the Death Star, which eventually the plans that end up in R2-D2 and lead to the events of them blowing up the Death Star in Star Wars A New Hope.
The whole Star Wars saga
Circle
starts.
of life, yeah.
All right, well, what do you think of the... We'll break it down into sections. We'll talk a little bit about the story, a little bit about the cast and performances, what we did, what we liked, what we didn't like, and then we'll have a little bit of spoiler chat at the end. We'll have it as limited spoiler-free as possible. Some may slip in there, but we'll do our very best to not until we get to the end.
Okay, fine. All right, so what did you think? What did you think of the idea itself when you first heard about it?
I thought it was really good. I've stayed out of this. I heard it was announced, and I'm like, yes, I'm in. Give me more Star Wars, please. Yeah. And then I saw that first trailer, and I'm like, yes, I'm in. Yeah. I will stay away. Yeah. And I've not looked at any trailers since. I've not read anything. I've done nothing.
Me too.
Because I intentionally wanted to come in with this with a somewhat fresh mind, because it is a fresh story in a way. We understand that they've referenced this moment in the Star Wars universe before, but they've never actually seen it. And I thought it was quite refreshing to see a different side of Star Wars that isn't the Skywalkers, that isn't the Jedi, it isn't lightsabers. You know what I mean? It's troops.
It's like a war.
The genius idea was so good. It was an espionage sort of war movie. It was really cool.
Yeah, I think, like you say often, it's solid. It was really good.
Yeah.
A lot of things were there that were very familiar. So there were Star Destroyers, which in the trailers they look white, and in the movie they kind of look white. I thought they were white because they were clean and not so grey yet. Maybe. I
thought the same thing, maybe there's sort of a cleaner look because they're sort of newish. Yeah, but then all the X-Wings look all tired and battered already, so it's kind of all right.
And there were a lot of familiar things. Walkers were in there, chicken walkers, a lot of stormtroopers.
So many stormtroopers. And variants of stormtroopers.
Yeah, the death troopers they had in there.
They had TIE fighters and variants of the TIE fighters as well. Exactly. Kind of the TIE Interceptor, but a bit...
Yeah, I think it's called a TIE Striker.
Yeah, okay.
You never really... You saw it for a little bit, but...
It's action figures. I'll buy one.
Yeah, so I think it's a good movie to bridge people who are this isn't a normal Star Wars movie. This is a spin-off. What is this? It's familiar enough to be okay, this is kind of looks a lot like A New Hope. Similar ships, similar style. Got that gritty real-world feel to it. But, yeah, I was worried that Rey from Star Wars Episode 7... was going to be too similar to Felicity Jones' character, because they're trying to push a lot of female leads, which is good.
Which is so good, by the way.
But they look very similar.
Yeah.
And I was worried that was going to be a problem, but I don't think it was.
I think
an interesting character.
I think they're very separate characters. Just in motivation, in how they presented themselves, how they took different... I'm trying to get into words and I really can't quite get it, but they are fundamentally different characters.
Okay. What did you think about Forrest Whitaker?
He was in it in a very small burst.
He had robot legs.
Now,
spoilers.
My understanding is that Forrest Whitaker's character, which is gone from my brain right now. He is that character's prominent in Rebels, which is a series I've not yet watched. So, coming from that, you look and you're like, okay, we understand that he is a very left extremist in terms of the rebel alliance, but to like the nth degree.
Yep.
Which is interesting to see that even they were sort of like, mentioned like, dude, like he's a nuts version of us.
Well, that was pretty cool when they took down a tank and kind of...
Yeah, so there's a small
little guerrilla warfare kind of thing.
There was a small section of the film. Once again, this is mild spoilers, so if you don't want to know, But there is like a tank in like a back street, and it sort of shows them being those rebels and taking it down. Just very interesting. Good way to go about it.
What about Mads Mikkelsen?
He's great.
Yeah.
I thought he was great.
He's always good.
Yeah, he's just solid.
Yeah. He's usually the villain. And it's no spoilers because he's in the trailers and things like that. But it's good to see him.
To me, he looks like a villain,
side.
but he wasn't. He was, he was generous. Was it not Gabe? It was like
what?
What's his dad's name?
Gersa.
So, no, it's really like.
What about Donnie Yen and his machine gun buddy?
Dude, they were
Jedi.
great. See, this...
Or blind, force sensitive.
This was really interesting because, once again, like I always said, I wanted a Star Wars movie that didn't have Jedi, per se.
Yeah.
And he's not. Like, he's not a Jedi. He's just someone that's force sensitive and uses it in a different way. Like, he has the cool staff that he uses. So it's really adding more to what George Lucas... When he created Star Wars, there were a lot of hints of very Eastern... mythology in terms of like the samurai, that sort of stuff. So that's where, that's where
films.
Yeah, that's where like the Jedi sort of have their groundwork, and having these guys coming in, being very Zen, and using pure martial arts. It's like, this is sick.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. What about Diego Luna? He had a massive part. He was almost like double lead there as. I forget what his name is. Prince Caspian, let's say.
I think it's Caspian or something equivalent.
He was really cool.
It was really good.
And they give each of the characters, like, I felt like there's so many characters it's going to be hard to keep track of, but they give them just a tease of a backstory for each of them that you get a sense that they are a lived character. They're not just like
it was enough to know what their motivations are, what their role is to play in this story, but you're not bombarded with exposition.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I noticed a lot in this movie as well, and just sort of keeping on that same sort of track, is I was having a discussion with my wife recently. We were watching something, and it was just exposition everywhere. Yeah. But this movie, it had it, but it wasn't like, we have to go get the plans now. Yeah. The plans are over there. It was like, it was all sort of, it let you fill the gaps yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, the plans are in that building. And it's sort of like, that's a big dish. And you go,
well, the bonus with this is it's kind of like a war movie or mission movie. So essentially the exposition is the scenes of them sitting around saying, this is the plan, we're going to get this, we're going to do that, we're going to go there. So it doesn't feel as exposition-y, because naturally they're telling the troops what they need to do.
100%.
And they do it.
Like an example is like Suicide Squad, right? Where Rick flags every second, every day for 5 minutes.
Exposition book as well.
Yeah.
That one. And K2, Alan Tudyk from Firefly. He did the motion capture. Yeah, and did the voice.
Yeah. He was essentially the comic relief of this movie.
And he was good.
Yeah, he was alright. A lot of the jokes didn't land for me personally.
What? You don't like to joke around?
No, I do, but like it felt a little forced humour sometimes.
He was like the socially inappropriate reprogrammed Imperial droid.
Yeah, Imperial droid that had been reconfigured, and as a result, he kind of just says what he was thinking. It was just kind of that.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he was cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting character. Like, there was no bad characters in this movie.
No. And Ben Mendelsohn as Mr. McGee General Facey.
Dude, like, he's just a Weasley-looking dude, right?
He is a Weasley.
Like, you just look at that guy and you're like, you're bad. You're bad. You're an asshole.
His clothes were always, like, not ironed. I don't know if that was intentional. But he's, like, clothes... Even his,
disheveled.
Like... His cape was ironed, and then his shirts were just, like... Well,
you know what I noticed as well? Like, I think it's maybe a subtle notice and a problem with, like, the full HD world that we live is, like, his badge, right, which looks like, like, gum. Like, the red was kind of leaking underneath it onto the next line. Like, it was not quite perfectly... Like, it was square, but there was a little bit of colour leakage.
It was metaphorical.
And it looked like... Yeah. Very interesting.
Can we talk links? Well, what about links to the universe of Star Wars as well? You've got the opening crawl is missing.
Yeah.
So a long time ago on a galaxy far, far away.
That just for a second?
Yeah.
Like, the movie opens with a long time ago on a galaxy far, far away, and I'm ready. I'm like, ready, and...
I thought it would say Star Wars.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It just goes, straight into the movie.
What I am disappointed in is then it goes into this opening sequence and then comes back and has stars and says Rogue One. And
Yeah.
really lame. Like,
But didn't say a Star Wars story.
No.
Just said Rogue
I'm
One.
not committing to that. So I wish they just had the title at the end. That's a nitpick. K2 had the I have a bad feeling about, and they cut him off.
Become shut up, yeah.
Yeah,
As expected, like a nice little throwaway was Flyman and Pigface from A New Hope, the guy they meet in the cantina in Mos Eisley.
Yeah. You'll be dead.
Yeah, that was kind of a big throwaway, a nice little throwaway little bit. There are some bigger ones as well that we don't want to sort of mention because they're like spoilers and stuff. But one character that is bafflingly good was Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about that. Like, that's known that he was in that movie. Yeah. So, the actor whose name is lost from me right now,
Peter
Cushing, he sadly passed away, so they weren't able to bring him back. Yeah. But what they've done is they've got a stand-in and they've digitally done his face. Yeah. And it is eerily good.
Yeah. We're still getting there with the Uncanny Valley. It is
Uncanny Valley, yeah.
Younger Michael Douglas and Ant-Man. You're getting there. At least they had the actors to kind of just digitally go over the top. Yeah. He was created completely. But when he's just like looking
when he's just looking at you, it looks like a picture and you're like, dude.
And it wasn't like, it starts with his shoulders and you just see him in the reflection of the glass looking. And I thought they'd just like talk to like the back of his head. But then he turns around and it's kind of like, oh yeah. But then there's like full scenes where he like is in and out of focus. He comes up and he's talking the screen. Like they're really focused on it.
The only thing that threw it for me is the lip syncing. The lip syncing was just like, if there's any sort of CG, lip syncing always throws me. Like, that's the one thing that throws me. Like, what they tend to find with the Uncanny Valley is a lot of the time it's eyes. Eyes normally will give it away. If the eyes seem sort of deadish, it gives it away. To me, the eyes look pretty spot on. It was the lip syncing was just slightly off.
Yeah, I think
like it didn't quite match how a normal person would talk when they use their mouth. But that's
still cool. I don't think you need him again. Like, this is the only story where it would really have him in it. So they did a really good job, I think.
It's nice to sort of to give more of that character because it's interesting. Like with A New Hope, it's sort of like, is he the one giving orders to Darth Vader? You know?
Well, that's the other thing. It makes a lot more sense into, I don't know if we can go on spoilers with the Death Star itself. I guess no, the thermal exhaust. But the idea in Star Wars is always like there's nobody closed up this thermal exhaust, and the idea is that whatever his name is, Matt Mikkelsen's character, built the thermal exhaust into there as a way, and if you shot through there, it would cause a chain reaction to blow it up. It just didn't happen to be a hole there. So yeah, it was his way of building the Death Star, but then also having a failsafe to destroy it, which was clever.
Yeah, because everything outside of Star Wars has been like, why would they have an exhaust pod open like that? If that's what it can do, why would they have it?
And they don't.
We have an answer.
Yeah, it's a secret.
It's awesome.
A secret self-destruct.
Awesome.
That was cool. They kind of retroed that, which helped. I liked.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was. What's it called when they change a story, like they did with like X-Men and stuff?
Retroactive.
It's got a name. Essentially, where they just kind of like retcon it. Like they retcon it, but slightly. They kind of made it make more sense.
Yeah.
Rather than retconning being like, oh no, it's just a thing. They're like, no, it makes sense, and this is how it makes sense.
Cool.
Which is incredibly important because what this movie is designed to do is expand on the Star Wars universe, and it's done that.
And they also had like title cards come up for the planets, which is new.
Yeah.
And essentially, you see similar things: X-wings, walkers.
There's a new U-wing,
chicken walkers, U-wing, which was cool. But like they had like this rainy, what was it? Out in the rocks kind of battle at night. That was interesting. Yep, they had the beach battle that's shown in the trailers.
Dude,
that was pretty cool.
It's interesting because we've seen sort of rainy, rocky worlds before. If we think of like Geonosis from Geonosis.
Camino.
Camino from episode 2, which is like big sort of rainy world.
Yep,
we've seen like a big sandy planet with Tatooine and Jakku.
Yep.
We've seen foresty planets with like Endor.
Yep.
We've never seen like a beach planet.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it was really cool to be able to see like something different. And having like the AT-ATs come in from the, there was big smoke.
When they first came through the smoke, that was
it was really weird. It had this almost
not that you wouldn't hear them. Like once you see them, then you can hear them stomping, which is dumb.
It had this very Jurassic Park vibe to it, but mixed with Star Wars. It was really nice.
Yeah. I would like to know the body count for stormtroopers in this movie.
Oh man, there's so many dead stormtroopers in this movie.
Hundreds, I would say, at least 150. The other thing I liked, which was cool, is that there's a lot of like international people. So you've got Donnie Yen, you've got Diego Luna, who's got his Spanish accent.
Yep.
You've got a throwback to when they filmed the Star Wars movies in Britain. There's a lot of British voices in there.
A lot of the Imperial people, yep.
The Imperials as well. And the Stormtroopers each had their own individual voices, so there weren't like many of the clone ones left, which was cool as well. Yeah,
so like just subtly they're showing that the clone army is changing. Yeah.
Can we go to this one?
Well, let's give sort of final thoughts. Then we'll tackle in some spoilers. So
my concern is that I was like, what if the spin-offs are better than the numbered ones? Like, good Star Wars is good Star Wars, but I was kind of like, I want it to be good, but not as good as the big story to overshadow it. But it was entertaining from beginning to end. There were no like plot holes where I roll my eyes. That usually takes me out of the movie. There was nobody that was horrible in the movie or like you'd roll your eyes or yawn at it. I don't know about a score. Are we doing scores?
Yeah, we'll give it a score out of 5.
Out of 5? I reckon it's a solid 4, if not 4. I'll leave some space. I'll go 4.
Yeah, look, I'm in the same boat. It's the story that I wanted to see. I wanted something that wasn't a Skywalker tale. Because it's very fascinating to think that this entire universe's, this entire galaxy's events all take place around one family. So it's nice to sort of see a different side of that.
I want to see him get away from that more.
Yeah, 100%. I was never concerned of like maybe this will be better than the main ones. That was never a concern for me. But I'm glad that it really held up on its own. There was some mild cliches here and there in terms of just some of the characters and how they connected. But they didn't actually, like the hint was there, but they never closed it, which was really good. They never like completed the full cliche.
Okay.
It gave me what I wanted, which was non-Skywalker, non-Jedi, no lightsabers, sort of. It's what I wanted, and I would give it, say, about a good 4.5 as well.
That's pretty good.
Like, it's like, as you mentioned, like a lot of the times when I'm watching a movie, there's always a moment that takes me out of it, whether it be like, oh, that's dumb, or like, oh,
Yeah.
But no, I had no point where I was like
every scene in Batman v Superman.
Like normally there's a dip. Every movie has a dip at some point where you kind of go, oh, okay. Well, then you check your phone, and then you check your phone, and you do something,
Yeah.
I only checked my phone once because it was my wife saying like, "Hey, your son's not going to sleep." I'm like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, I wouldn't have looked at my phone. Like I was 100% in that film.
Yeah. And it felt like it once the trailers were over, I felt like
oh my god! Side conversation. 20 minutes of ads
at midnight.
At midnight. So really, it was like a 12:20 screening of Star Wars.
Yeah, but yeah, and no trailers even. There's just straight to
one trailer.
That. Oh yeah, for a movie that I'm pretty sure is already out. Anyway, can we go into some spoilers?
Yeah. So look, this is where we're going into full-blown spoilers. So if you've already seen up to here so far, excellent. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. The likes are very important, the thumbs and whatnot. Spoilers!
All right, Darth Vader was in it.
Yeah, which I sort of knew he was going to be in it, but like I didn't know at what extent. Like we were spitballing before we went in. Like maybe he's going to do a Suicide Squad and have him in the movie a little bit. Doesn't really change the overall storyline, but he's there, which sort of happened.
Which was cool. I thought he'd just be in that scene where it looked like they went to Mustafa from Revenge of the Sith.
It does look like Mustafa, yeah.
He never said. But he had like this temple, and the cool thing, he was in like some kind of like I think the Bacta tank.
He was outside of his suit in a Bacta tank, just sort of like chilling,
healing or something. And then turned up, did some chokeholds and stuff like that, force chokes.
See, this was very interesting. Like we're sort of discussing this as well. Like where does this fit in terms of the time frame? Like, do they get the plans straight away, and then within a week to 2 weeks, Leia's got it? And they're being done. You know what I mean? Like, is it that quick? Because like looking how Darth Vader moved, right? He moved like a younger person. Like, he was a bit lighter on his feet, and he kind of, does a bunch of cool lightsaber things and force lifting. Dude, this is like, towards the end of the movie, there is a very intense scene with Darth Vader in a hallway. This is like, as I mentioned, like no lightsabers except for this moment. Like, this is where you get to see Darth Vader be the badass that he's known to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's the opening of Force Unleashed, but in a corridor in a movie.
And not killing Wookiees.
Yeah,
that was cool. R2-D2 and C-3PO!
Yeah! That was silly.
That was alright.
It was there, it was nice. It was a nice sort of like... But it felt unnecessary.
Yeah. I like to see the chicken walkers walk around. That was cool. And you saw like one of the probe droids from Hoth. Like the little wheelie ones as well.
Little power droids, yeah.
Yep. The part, like the movie had kind of wrapped when everybody, their storylines played out. And then it kind of dragged at the end where it was this big battle. I'm like, I don't know where this is going now.
Yeah.
And then essentially it kind of... I can't think of examples of prequels where they need to like tie it up perfectly to the new one. I could have got the illusion that that's going to happen. It almost like exactly played out to start at A New Hope, like literally go into New Hope with Darth Vader, with the plans, giving it to Princess Leia, who's also young digital, not so great Carrie Fisher. That one didn't look too good. Yeah,
it was a bit janky. I think it's because we know, like it's interesting with Grand Moff Tarkin, we know what we see him as is what.
Well, he's got so much like features to him, like this very skeletal.
Yeah, but like that's what we know him as, and like because he was old when he did that. But with Carrie Fisher, we now know what she looks like old as hell. So we looked at him like, you don't look like that anymore.
No, not at all. And you don't sound like that either.
No.
Hey, Han, I got the plans. I can't think. I felt like there was more spoilery stuff, but not really.
Look, it was interesting. Like, with this story, you know that everyone dies.
Yeah.
Like, that was really interesting because, like, you know how with this story...
Well, I thought, like, someone should survive and could have their own tales, but literally...
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies. Yeah.
Everyone dies. I'm like, what do you think of this?
Jimmy Smits.
Oh, my God.
Bail Organa, cool.
Jimmy Smits, you good-looking Bail Organa.
Like, he was in episode 2, like, for, like, 2 seconds, he does when they're building, like, all the ships at the end. And then he was barely in episode 3. He's in cut-out scenes with Mon Mothma, who's in this. And then he's this, but that's literally like he's going to blow up on Alderaan now. He's not back ever again.
Yeah, he talks about, I'm going to go back to Alderaan and let everybody know that there's no peace. I'm like, yeah, you do that.
Yeah, good luck, mate.
Spoilers, you're going to die.
You're dead as well.
But I love Jimmy Smits, like, as an actor in general, and be able to see him come back. I think that was a nice connection to the prequels, because everyone needs to acknowledge that the Rogue One is technically a prequel.
Yeah, and Rogue One is acknowledging... Well, I guess, Bail Organa is in the prequels, but literally, like, this is a direct link from the movie prequels to the story of that. I'm just trying to...
What do you think of the space battles?
Yeah, I was thinking of that at the end. That was pretty good. Like, they didn't do anything. There was some shots where it was on the actual, like, back of the X-Wing and you're flying around, but they didn't use too many new kind of camera techniques or things like that to take you out of it.
Yeah.
Everything felt practical. I felt there'd be more creatures. There was that one guy he was like a bounty hunter guy and he had the eyes glowing. He kind of looked like a
Darth Vader was missing the top of his mask.
Not even that, like a skin version of the robot, K2. Like, had the same eyes, the same...
he sort of looks like, in Force Awakens when there's when they're at Maz's palace. Yeah. And there's that lady that's like, they're here. And the guy's like, he had the old, Shaw SM50, Shaw, whatever.
The other thing I did like is they had, like, in the ship, they had, like, practical headphones that looked, like, crappy and raggedy and, like, you'd use in like, the real world.
Yeah.
A lot of their clothes. They had, like, the Rebels had these weird, like, syringe things or test tubes. Did you see that? In their ranks, in their clothes.
See, what I like about the space battles is... Compared to, say, the opening of Revenge of the Sith, right? Yeah. Like, that is just packed. Yeah. Like, there is just ships everywhere. Like, it's visual noise, in a way. Like, it's great to watch, but it was like, this is so much going on, I don't know what to follow. Where this, it was busy, but it wasn't as busy. So you could follow certain ships.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, it helps, like, in Revenge of the Sith, there's so much going on, but you're not familiar with any of the ships. They're always new ships.
Yeah.
With this, it's very clearly you can see the X-Wings, they're the good guys. TIE Fighters are the bad guys. They're very distinct in their shapes, whereas episodes 1, 2, and 3 are a bit busier. But I did like when the Star Destroyers crashed in. Like, they shoved the ship into it, and like, boosters, and pushed it in. That was cool.
That was awesome.
When they crashed on the shield, and the ship kind of like just broke apart and rolled across on the shield.
Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting concept, actually, like the entire planet. Because I always wondered, like, when they talk about planets, like, if all the fighters are on this side, literally just go on the planet this side.
Yeah.
But, like, they've knocked that out. The entire planet's one giant shield. We have one opening that you can get through.
Yeah.
That was really smart.
And, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Nice.
There was some gorgeous shots where... Oh, that's what I was going to say. The Death Star kind of came across the sun. And the Death Star doesn't just destroy planets. It can, like, narrow its field to destroy a city.
Yeah, like, one thruster or whatever.
Yeah, and it uses the crystals from lightsabers. Like,
dude, that was awesome!
And destroying, like, Jedi artifacts and temples, not just to wipe them off the history of the world, but also to mine it.
Well, yeah, because it's very interesting, because my understanding would always be in the Empire wanted to remove the Jedi from history, so it wasn't as simple as, they're mining the Kaiser crystals. Are Kaiser crystals? Like, it's funny, when I was watching it, and they're like, they're getting the power of the Kaiser crystal, I'm like, is that what uses the lightsaber?
Yeah. And she had the necklace as well.
Yeah, and there was that one moment of exposition. The guy's like, "Hey, do you know what the Kaiser crystal's for?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's for lightsabers."
Yeah.
And then you hear people go, "Oh."
Yeah.
That was a nice little touch.
Again, like a bit of a retconning to kind of make it feel like it's more connected, and the Jedi relating to the Death Star specifically and the power of the Force. They talked about the Force, but they didn't really address her. Like, you thought that she was going to be Force sensitive because she's like, put the necklace on her, believe in the Force, but she didn't.
See, that's more of like believing in the religion rather than actually being able to have.
And that, it kind of became the Rebels' motto, like, may the Force be with you. Like, they don't believe in the Force or use the Force, but it's like their motto to be like acknowledging the good in the world.
That's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's good. Would you watch it again?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to because the wife wants to see it. So
then
I'm very much gonna see it
7 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we've pretty much...
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Comment below. Let us know what you think. And now, obviously, if you're going to mention... we've just talked about spoilers. If you're going to talk about spoilers, please let people know on the bottom.
Yeah, put spoiler, but then
a
your
couple
eyes
lines.
just dart to the right and you know that it's the next line.
Yeah. Very nice of you. I'm Ryan Besson.
I'm Dylan Boyd.
And that was our review discussion of Star Wars Rogue One.
May the Force be with you.